Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zoom into Wine. It's time for the show and your host, Ian Blackburn.
We've got a lot to talk about tonight. My name is Ian Blackburn. I'm the host of Wine LA, Learn About Wine. Merchant of Wine is a store I buy wine for. And we are at Zoom into Wine tonight, which is our Wednesday night Zooms, which we do all the time. Always creating some new content, new ideas, and having fun with it. Let's take a look at our Zoom into Wine calendar page for tonight. We're going to be talking about Paso Robles. And we're going to be going up there tasting a couple of fantastic wines. Those that are participating had tasting kits delivered to your homes. And that's what we do at Zoom into Wine. You go to the Merchant of Wine, you can click on the Zoom into Wine calendar, see all of our upcoming stuff. I also post all my classes at Learn About Wine over here as well. And we are starting to do Wine LA events, and we're going to decide what name we're going to go forward with from here out. Learn About Wine, Wine LA, all these names. But we're trying to clean it up as we're coming back online with our events and classes, and we've even got some live events now on the calendar. We're going to have a little jazz and wine night up in Santa Monica on the 15th of May. We were supposed to be out there tomorrow night, Cinco de Mayo, but who knew that every entertainer gets hired for Cinco de Mayo, and it was impossible to get a jazz band. So we moved to Sunday the 15th. What can I say? One of the best things we've done in the last year is decide to do a sherry tasting. And this guy, Paul Sanguinetti, is going to be hosting us on top sherry. This is not your grocery store sherry. This is like some really elevated stuff, limited collection stuff. So if you want to learn, see if you like sherry, it's always easier to taste the very, very best stuff and learn a lot about this historical beverage. It really was the foundation for much of the wine industry and the spirits industry. And Paul knows all about that, and he's going to share us some really incredible insights and taste us on some amazing stuff, which we now have on our website at Merchant of Wine. And then there's always Spain coming down the pipe, and we promote those on our Zoom into Wine project, but these are actually part of our charitable efforts over at Learn About Wine. So we're going to have some of the best in Spanish wine on the Zoom with us, including one of the best white wines I've ever put in my mouth, the Syrah Spacious wine. We'll go down to La Mancha for this fantastic white wine, barrel fermented, so we'll see two totally different styles of white. Then Bersco, which is one of the regions you got to know about. These Menthia wines are just incredible, and no one has a better reputation in making them than Paul Perez. And we're tasting one of his all-time best, so it's going to be amazing. We'll head over to Rioja, not just for any Rioja, but Bodegas Contadors, one of the legends of Rioja. This is a $150 bottle of 2008, which is unbelievable. It's so pretty. And I don't think anyone has ever put anything like this in your mouth unless you've had Benjamin Romero's efforts before. And you know what I'm talking about. These are not the big, bad, ripe, extracted type of wines. These are so pretty. The only thing I could compare that wine to is something like from the Southern Rhone, like a really good Chateauneuf de Pape. It's just beautiful. We'll go to Monsant and taste just an awesome wine right outside of Priorat. These amazing family doing some really revolutionary stuff with farming practices, biodynamics, organics, natural winemaking practices. And we'll conclude our Stars of Spain with one of the all-time legends from Ribera del Duero, Pingus, Peter Sessek's wine. We're going to have the Florida Pingus, which is the second wine. The Pingus wine, it's $1,200 a bottle. This Florida Pingus around $150, $200 somewhere in there. And so we're going to be able to taste it. You can taste all those wines, all 6 of those wines for $55. And so you might want to jump in It's a really tremendous flight. You can buy all the bottles for $3.75 below retail. So join us for Stars of Spain that's coming quickly. And now I'm ready to begin our show tonight, which is all about Paso Robles. And I want to welcome everybody to the Zoom with me. And thank you for joining us. We have a nice little sold out house tonight. We only can make so many samples from the bottles. We did sell quite a few bottle kits, and I want to thank you guys for grabbing those and joining us. We have some of our regulars, some of our members. It's great to see you all again and to stay in touch with you. I hope you guys enjoy the program tonight. Just by view, have any of you been up to Paso lately? Maybe raise your hand, say hi. Charles, what did you do up in Paso recently?
Mostly taste wine.
Yeah? Any
Yeah,
place?
my sons went to high school with Eric Jensen.
Oh,
So
wow.
we've always had a little bit of a soft spot for Booker, but we ran into so many good things, great restaurants. We liked where we stayed. What was it called? Piccolo. We stayed at the Piccolo
Oh,
right near the square. It was beautiful. And it just was a great 4-day trip.
very nice.
Yeah.
Well, my father lived in Paso up until about 4 months ago, and then he moved away. So I don't have accommodations up there anymore. So I'm going to have to start to explore the hotel options in Paso. I'll check out the Piccolo.
Yeah, you'll like it. They have a wonderful roof bar, which is they get little eats and you can end your day there. And it's just very nice rooms, great staff. They were very helpful, and right next door to one of the better restaurants. So,
Well, excellent. Well, you've given me a nice little segue. We'll take a look at the Paso Robles Wine Country website. They've done a really nice job. If you want to go to Paso, and it's so reasonable for us to get up there, Paso Robles Vintners Association have this wonderful website with the restaurants and lodging. There's even tour and transportation experts that you can chat with, and contacts to other attractions. You need to do a little miniature golf or fly in the air on a strap 60 feet above the ground. It's high speed. That sounds really fun. Let's take a look at the winery list. And if any of you, I love to have you guys participate here and just tell me some of your favorites that maybe you have been up to. I'm working more and more with the brand called Aaron. They're Petit Syrah, and actually really amazing Pinot producer that I'm really enjoying. Adelaide is always a one I know, and some of these I don't know, so I might just go right past them unless you say something. Alto Colina, I've always loved working with them. The Allegretto Hotel is beautiful. I know that, and that could be where I end up staying as well because they do take very good care of us. Aged,
Yeah, because you might.
a really good value. Austin Hope, always really putting a lot of wine for the money in the marketplace. Bodega de Edgar, he makes some awesome Spanish varieties. He's been featured at a number of our events and really enjoy his wines. Of course, we just mentioned Booker, Brecken, really great wines. We've had Bushong on our Zoom before, really nice folks there. We had some really good success with their wine. Calcareous, really crazy hillside.
excellent wine.
Yeah, big wines too, right?
Big ones, yeah.
Concentrated, change the color of your teeth type of wines. Kaleiza, really awesome long-term producer. I have a wine from them on the website called End of Days. It's kind of like a casual wine that they're making. They always made wine 75 to $100 a bottle, and now they eat these End of Day Cabernets like $30. Really tasty. Cass, really fun and entertaining place to visit. Love doing the cheese tasting out there years ago. I hope that's still going on.
Hey, Ian.
Yeah.
Diane and I went to Clos Salin, which is up there on your list right
Did
now.
I just pass it?
That's right.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It's a wonderful small winery, kind of newer vines, but the winemaker there was the assistant winemaker at L'Aventure. And
Yes. Colossal is a very good friend of mine, and he and his wife Celine are really, um, I think, a fantastic ambassadors for Paso. French family, worked for L'Aventure, and continue to take ground. And their wines are spectacular. Love them. Super
beautiful
high
stuff.
standards. Yeah, beautiful stuff. And these are what, when I look at the wine world and how things are shaping up, and I haven't tried the Khaleesi winery, but I've been hearing about it. Cloak and Dagger, I've been hearing about them. When I look at all the fun energy that's happening in Paso, you just can't help but root for them a little bit. There's several hundred wineries here. I'm going to try to move a little quicker, but there's some great stuff to consider. Had some great success with the Nell wines. He actually won our Grenache Wars 3 years ago when we did it last. Cromavera, very good white wine producers. I haven't tried the reds in years. Of course, Dow has been just kicking ass and taking names, but probably not.
Spectacular.
Yeah, beautiful facility. They've become a little too big and overexposed for my little store because I can't make money selling those wines at all. There's no margins in them, and but I do think that they've done a great job of positioning themselves as a really important brand. And I've been to the facility; it's beautiful.
Dinner's always amazing.
Dinner's always amazing, and Dirt Worshipper has been a top 100 wine in pasts, and had some great experiences with Desperado wines. They're really nice, pretty wines. I think she is the wife of Russell. What's his last name? Nuts and Bolts. Does anybody know? See if we get there. It'll trigger something here in a minute. DeBost, really nice family. Eberly, I taste wines with Gary Eberly at the LA International Wine Fair, and he brought some really older vintage stuff, and an enormous personality. Really have fun with him. We stand on completely opposite sides of the political spectrum, but he is a fantastic dude, and nonetheless, I like arguing with people.
Epic is a good wine.
Epic is a good one for sure. I've got some Epic wines on the website,
Yeah.
and they've been doing some great stuff for years, and I just get a teeny little allocation. Tonight we're going to talk about field recordings. Let's see, we're going to keep cruising here, and I'm sorry if I pass anybody. Halter Ranch, a very large estate producer.
Yeah.
Hearst, I did a outstanding in the field with the Hearst family. Somewhere there in the last year, there was a pocket when we thought COVID was going away, and they came back to life, and we went out there and did a outstanding in the field outside dining experience. It was a lot of fun. Up on the Hearst Ranch is where we did that. It was spectacular. Perfect day. Herman Story. There's the guy. Russell Fromm and Desperada. They're married. Hoyt family, former television star from kids TV, and she's making her way up there. We've got J. Lore, very successful. The Duceys with their amazing Zinfandels. Jada, always a big fan of Jada, and they just got purchased recently. Jada, they're now part of our Los Angeles wine group. Can't remember the name of them, but they bought but they bought Jada, and they're going to apparently just leave them alone. But that's the good news. Justin continuing to make some pretty nice wines for the money. A lot of them are very, grocery oriented, but good value. L'Aventure, incredible. The wines just keep getting better there. I've finally got some L'Aventure coming to me. I'll have that on my website soon. Law Estate, I buy it every year. I get a small allocation. Those wines just keep selling through. If you've never been to Law Estate, wow, you got to go. They got the same type of hilltop just right next to Dow, overlooking everything, and it's absolutely probably the nicest built winery in the history of wineries.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
It is special, very special. They've actually patented the design too, so it's really really efficient and sustainable, all concrete, reusable type stuff. Levo, this is a brand you're going to hear of in the future. Young guy, a lot of energy. Ledge, it's kind of the same thing. Really the nicest people on the planet at Ledge and making some great wine. Lenny Colado, been successful forever. So successful you can't even find their wines anymore. Matt Travison, beautiful facility, great winemaker, beautiful wines. Tonight we're going to taste McPrice Myers. We'll cover them. Lone Madrone, really cool team there. He's winemaker for Tablas Creek, and this is his own project. Let's see, I don't know some of these guys. The Miller family, of course, they own Bienacido vineyards, and they're diversified into some vineyard holdings up in Paso as well. There's been a lot of acquisition and consolidation, so you're going to see some brands start to disappear that maybe they're on this list and they own a beautiful vineyard and they've made a little bit of wine to kind of get it out there, but the vineyards are being sucked up right now by hedge funds, 200 acres at a time, buying them because owning your fruit is going to be the next phase of winemaking that's going to be challenged. You're making a name for yourself because you're getting some Booker Vineyard, whatever, and all of a sudden Booker Vineyard sells his vineyard. This is an example, but Booker Vineyard sells their vineyard. Nobody gets it anymore. That's going to happen, and so a lot of brands are going to start to go bye-bye because they don't get the great fruit that they once got. And so this kind of thing happens in the wine world, this 7-10 year cycle where people buy all the vineyards and then all of a sudden they've got so many vineyards and something happens and there's not enough demand to sell all the fruit, and then they get oversaturated with too much wine. Then they start to sell off vineyards and things start to loosen back up and things happen. It just the nature of the beast. And we're pointing in the cycle right now where vineyards are just going crazy. Niner just came down and did a LA Magazine event with me. I was really impressed. Their wines are solid. They keep them affordable. And if you've ever been to the winery, it's great. A little food spot. Really good restaurant there. At least I haven't eaten there now in a couple of years, but I pretend the last 2 years didn't happen. Opolo did a good job of getting out there years ago. Haven't tasted them in a while. Pas sur terre. This guy's all over my social media and has a lot of fans of his style. Very natural. Someone just said something. Was that something you want to repeat, or was that for everybody?
I'm not, she's unmuting me. My daughter just a couple months ago got engaged at Niner Winery.
Ah.
And they did a very nice little lunch. The food was excellent. The wine is very, drinkable. And they have a heart of trees that they've cut that's on their hillside so that they can do these weddings, the weddings and the
I think it's called the Heartstone Vineyard or something like
that. That's kind of corny, but the lunch place is delicious.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's kind of a nice little scenic little spot there. You see it from the road and you know exactly where you're at. Saxon.
Hey, Ian,
yeah, go ahead.
you passed over peanut. minutes ago. You're in the S's now. You were in the P's. I
Yeah,
just wanted to know knew them and what you thought of them. Pianetta.
don't know them.
Okay.
You like them?
Yeah, I've been drinking them for many years. They're it's a father-daughter Italian. He's Italian from Italy, and it's father-daughter winery. And I like their wine. And
Yeah,
they
there's
make
uh, Pelletier, Penman, Penanetta. These guys were all part of the kind of the foundation of Paso 15 years ago. We used to do a lot
they're
of
at least
things
here. Yeah.
with them down here in LA. Some of them kind of pulled back their outreach. This is what happens. You're making 3,000 cases of wine. You get started. You've got a tasting room that's not selling at all, so you got to reach out and try to sell some wine to faraway places, and then you start selling it all, and you stop going out there, and you stop being part of the conversation. So that's kind of where we're at a little bit with some of these brands, because some of them I still have wonderful remembrance of, but I haven't seen them or tasted them in a decade, because they're just not out there anymore. Tablas Creek, they're out there. They're working hard. They're doing so many cool things, really keeping their top.
Ian,
Yeah.
the farm. I don't know if you've had much experience with them. Very small Archival Ferrar Malbecs are absolutely spectacular.
First of all, I had an incredible opportunity to taste with Archival in Mendoza. And when he moved to Paso, I have been trying to get his wine in my store for a while, and we've actually got it built out behind the scene. It's supposed to arrive any day. It hasn't yet arrived, but I'm buying some library stuff from him directly.
Nice.
So we'll have some farm wine available pretty soon. Beautiful, big, beautiful, just, these wines kind of defy gravity a little bit. They're so big, ripe, rich, concentrated, and yet they're still super delicious because they have this crazy spine of acidity that holds them together. And it's just a place, a freak of nature type of place that can make wines that really do that. Thatcher has been super cool with our website, showing off some really cool wines. I will carry their wines again. We carried them before. We sold them through. We'll bring in some more. I can't keep Turley in stock. We have sold a lot of Turley, and they're out. Like, I don't know what's going on. I get to buy their wine for about 30 days, and it's sold out. It's amazing. They're not a teeny producer either. Turtle Rock. This is another Justin Smith project that we get a little bit of their wine this year. I got 6 bottles. I had it on the store for 5 days. It was gone. So some of these brands just fly off the page, and some of them I'm not familiar with. So we just continue to try to find good things. Of course, tonight we're going to talk about Torin. And so I apologize to the wineries I didn't spend enough time on, but we got a lot to cover here tonight. I think I just spent more time than I thought I would going through that list, but wow, there's a lot to appreciate there. We are live on Facebook, and we keep if you've ever want to participate in these events and didn't get the link or something like that, you can always go to Facebook.com/zoomintowine.com, and we'll be right there at 7 o'clock every Wednesday night. But if you want to taste with us, be on this Zoom, sign up, buy a ticket, get a tasting kit. It's inexpensive, it's fun, and hopefully you'll enjoy it so much you might even buy a little bit of wine from us after we're done. But with that being said, tonight we're going to taste 4 wines, and 2 of them are about to sell out. So we only have 1 bottle of Torin left, and we have 0 Petit Syrah left from field recordings. I was counting on carrying more of that, and the distributor thought they were getting some more, never showed up. It's not coming. There isn't anymore for a little while, so we'll be without Petit Syrah from them. But I think you're going to love it. I think you'll love their other wine too. I do. This is what Paso Robles looks like now. So when we talk about Paso, we don't just talk about the whole region anymore. We're really getting specific on the different microclimates, sub-appellations, sub-AVAs, York Mountain, Willow Creek, Adelaida, Estrella. That kind of side of town is really where a lot of the excitement is happening right now. Someone want to ask a question, make a comment?
It's really changed.
Oh yeah, it's continuing to
All the sub babies. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so we're going to talk about some new stuff tonight that you want to be aware of. We're actually tasting the cab. I'm sorry, I tried to get this slide changed for my designer. She grabbed the wrong slide, but we'll talk about cab. I got a backup plan. So California needs more of these wines in the marketplace. Yes, well, that is what I'm saying, basically. You go to Paso, you buy your wine at the winery, and if they can sell it that way, that is the best way for them to pay their bills. Get it? But if you just do that, no one ever finds out about you, and you start to eventually get smaller because your customers, kind of start to say, hey, I've been doing that for 5 years. Here's something new. Let's change it up. One of the things people are changing to are McPrice Mac Myers. That is him right there. Big dude, big personality, fantastic wines, great reputation. His partner, owner, style guru, PhD in molecular and medical genetics.
Wow.
She works for Regeneron and Amgen, and they run McPrice Myers Winery. And this is where my backup plan comes in.
Mac used to come down on when he was really, really small and come down on weekends and work at Wine Exchange in Orange County and go back up and make wine during the week, but he had to pay the bills.
I know all about that. And yeah, those places are really great insights on how retail stores work and how good retail stores work. I went into one time went into the wine club in Santa Ana, and Gaia was working there trying to learn the biz. The daughter of Angelo Gaia. So here's McPrice Myers' website. And let's see, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. My backup plan is falling apart here. Let me go back into zoom into wine. Good way to find the wines if you want, or hey, we tasted at that Zoom. Just go to that Zoom page.
It's gonna be up for a while. It was supposed to be up there for like ever or for a while.
Well, it was up there for a while, and you know what? I did. My designer did exactly the right thing. She put what was on the event, Zinfandel. Well, guess what, folks? We're tasting Cab tonight, as I thought we were tasting Cab. So I sent you guys the pound for pound Cabernet. Apologize if you were looking forward to the Zin, but we are tasting Cab because that's what I thought we put up. That was the only Cab that we had on the flight tonight. So
wait, I have not the pound for pound, but something called Bull by the Horns.
That's why I can't find it. Bull by the Horns. He only calls his Zin pound for pound.
Okay.
Cab is called Bull by the Horns, and that's what I sent everybody. So that's what we're going to be tasting tonight from McPrice Myers, Bull by the Horns Cabernet. This is a delicious, voluptuous, black and blue fruited Cabernet from the rich, warm hills of Paso Robles. $21 a bottle.
Wow.
Great value proposition from these wines. They taste great. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to put some of mine in my glass. Give me 1 second. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Well, let me just say that the price point on the Bull by the Horns for me is fabulous. For the winery, For the winery, it's $25. Great move we had.
Yeah, it's super tasty. Tons of content for the investment. I mean, just look at this color saturation. And you pour it in the glass. I'm gonna take the video off for a second.
16 months in the barrel.
Yeah,
That's
about 30% new wood. Oh, that nose is just so concentrated and rich and just makes you go, wow.
no time to spit that out.
Yeah, you're not going to mistake that for Bordeaux. That is ripe and rich and concentrated and enjoyable. This is a great access wine too for people that, you know, maybe they're new to wine. Maybe you're not necessarily a cab fan. Maybe you like something a little bit riper and richer. This has kind of a classic Zinfandel presentation too. It's kind of jammy, juicy, and there's nothing wrong with that at all, especially at this price point, to have this kind of volume and richness. And yeah, I always from day one thought in my mind, this is what I was showing you tonight. Sorry about the not showing you the Zin, because I will be showing you the Zin. We're doing a Zin Zoom soon. We'll include this Zin in our Zin Zoom. But I wanted to have a Paso cab because Paso and Cabernet are all, you know, Paso's either known for Rhones or they're known for the cab. And so this wine here is just super delicious. $20 a bottle. You can open it every day and not to feel too much pain, and really turn some people on something new. You don't see it in the grocery stores necessarily. They're not that big of a producer yet, but they are growing fast, and their distributor's doing a really good job. They're known as hard-working wines, and I didn't make that up. That's what it says on the back label. Hard-working wines. He wants to put a lot of value in the bottle. There's like 4 wines in the lineup.
Ian, excuse me. Did you already finish the first bottle and we missed that?
Nope, we're on
Because you're doing number 2 before number 1.
No, I'm doing the hard-working wines. Did I put a number 2 on your bottle?
Yeah, the Bull by the Horns is number 2.
No, I gave you that one first. I'm sorry. I put the number on the wrong bottle.
Okay.
And then still no.
So we've got Fiction is our second bottle then, is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
I was gonna say these.
Okay, so we have to change these. Okay.
Makes more
Thank you.
sense. We're done. We're good.
Sorry, guys. Not the smoothest start to our Zoom tonight. I apologize. Been moving fast.
All right, got it.
But it's
Moving along.
Are bottles numbered differently or what?
No, I don't know.
I got your files correctly listed. Just her. I put numbers on her bottles and her bottles only, and there's a reason why I don't do that, Susan. I apologize. Because sometimes when we taste the wines, when I go to open them, I'm like, I can't start with that one because it's too small. Wrong order. So when we went to fill the jars, we changed the order a little bit. All right.
I got it because I'm going. Okay.
So I hope you got any other comments about the cab. You guys like it? Love it?
It's delicious.
Super. Barnett, you doing all right, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic to have you here tonight.
Good to be here, as always.
Great to see you too, Jim. Thank you for joining us. Diana, and I'm glad you got on the Zoom.
Yes, thank you for that. And I like this wine.
Me too. You know, sometimes you want to think about the wine at a particular level, and sometimes you just want a damn good glass of red wine. It's gonna not set you back too far. This is really enjoyable, pleasurable, ready to drink. Doesn't need 5 years in the bottle, and at this price point really over delivers on the quality marks. I think it's a really good deal. Oh, and yes, I can get a lot of this wine, so buy as much as you like. It's the 2020 vintage is brand new. The distributors just talked to me today and said they've got a bunch in stock, so we're in good shape. All right, moving into wine number 2. Susan, it is the Field Recordings Fiction. Sorry about that. And the reason I switched the order up from potentially sending out that bottle kit is I think I packed yours a while ago, Susan. It was going to go out. We were going to flip out the Petit Syrah and find something else to put in its place. And everything we tried to get here just couldn't get here in time. So we went ahead and went with the Petit Syrah. We literally sold out in the process of doing this. In fact, one of our patrons tonight got a small 2-ounce jar when they wanted a bottle because that's all we could give them, and they knew that in advance. But we made it. We just had to sell out the program. Couldn't go any further with sales. So when we're tasting the wines, we open them up and want to start with that cab because now we're going to fiction. And this is from Field Recordings. They've got 2 wines in our lineup, and in fact, it's one of the few. I mean, there's a couple of wines in tonight's lineup that I break my own rule where I usually only carry 1 wine from each brand, but you can't do that with this brand. This Field Recording wines are just so tasty, and the same thing with the hardworking wines. I carry both the Bull by the Horns Cab and the Zinfandel with a different name. And so these are just really delicious, hard to beat values. So fiction comes in as a blend, and I don't think you can really identify.
It's field blend.
Yeah, that is an artful blend, and I'll tell you, there's some rhyme and some reason here that this wine achieves this really fantastic character that is so consistent too. That, you know, sometimes when you buy a wine like this, every year you go to drink it, it delivers a different message. That is not the case here. He has done a great job with this wine. I'm not sure that he's able to always hit the same numbers, but he always achieves the same kind of presentation. This wine's 21 Zin, 15 Sangiovese. It's got 13% Petit Syrah, 12 Syrah, 8 Alicante Boucher, 7 Charbonneau, 7 Grenache, 7 Cabernet Franc, 5 Cabernet Sauvignon, and 5 Corvina. Corvina is the wine they make Amarone from. Not very many people making Corvina wine from Paso. I'm not sure where he gets those grapes, but when you look at these grape varieties like Alicante, like Charbonneau, like Corvina, what are you getting is probably something pretty damn good, and it's not that expensive to buy the fruit. So he's able, and I've had some awesome Charbonneaus in the state of California where they're just super delicious and fun, but the winemakers can't make any money selling $40 bottles of Charbonneau. So they blend it into things like this, and they can really give it a fun, rich character. I mean, all these things play a different instrument, and what we've got here is like a symphony of different fruits.
Did you try the new pair?
Tell me what you think. I've got you all unmuted, so anyone that wants to speak, you might want to mute your computer if you want to talk about ingredients in the dinner or anything else.
Ian, I'm not drinking tonight, but I'm watching, and this winery seems very consistent with the style and the consistency of Herman Story wines.
Yeah.
Just beautiful structure to them, big, bold.
Yep. But check out that alcohol, 13.9. And I think what pulls that alcohol back are wines like the Charbonneau.
Good point.
You know, you pick that and it gets ripe, and you might bottle that at full ripeness with 12% alcohol. Think in Alicante Boucher maybe the same thing. I'm guessing a little bit there, but 13.9 alcohol. This is our winemaker, and what I love about this story is that 15 years ago, I used to do tastings out in Santa Monica at the Santa Monica Place. We would stand out over on the third floor. There's a little balcony there, and they'd let us set up tables, and I'd have little wineries show up, and we'd have music playing, and we'd have a couple hundred people come out, taste wine. Restaurants at the Santa Monica Place would come out with little plates of food, raise a little money for charity. And Andrew Jones would show up himself, and he was pouring these field recording wines. Loved the name. They had these bird formations on the labels. You know, coming from the music industry, a lot of people in the wine world. Field recordings. I thought it was so cool. It had looked like a record label on the bottle, and he just had this natural gift for making these just amazing blends, and that's what we have here with Fiction. He's always made the Fiction wine. I think that was the first wine he made. So dense and so dark and so deep and so delicious. It's just got all the D's that you want, and these are enormous wines that he somehow pulls together. And here's a little look at his vineyard locations. And he certainly is working with a large number of growers.
Wow.
And I'll come back to this wine in a second. I'm just going to open up our website, and come on. Go back into Zoom into Wine. Go here. Go to Fiction. $17.95. It's just a big party in a bottle. And pizza, ribs off the grill. I mean, the number of cheeseburgers, whatever. This Fiction bottle is a home run, and super delicious, really fun. And I don't know how you can put all that content and quality in the bottle for less than $20.
Ian, we all love this. This is really good. Do you know what the name Field Recordings is? Is he from the music industry, or what? How did that name come about? Oh, yeah. I didn't get it. Yeah.
I will be honest. I can't recall where the story comes from, but what I'd love to do. Field Recordings wine labels, because he's this new iteration is just built for success from its simplicity, easy to identify. But let me just go into images and see if there's any of his old label. You might recognize it. Let's look at, I mean, every single one, it's like color coordinated now. Here's the pets that we're going to be drinking tonight. I carry another wine from him that's just insane. Oh, are you looking at my screen? Maybe I'm not sharing.
No.
I carry another wine from him called it's called Salad Days.
Why is it?
It's a little pet gnat, and that's not my website, but that's you know, look at the color scheme that he's got here. These are the different bottlings that he's making now. So he's really got some great ideas for branding these wines. If I had him on the Zoom with us tonight, and maybe we will have him back because there's just so much to talk about with him. But he's just always had a knack, and his wines are delicious. They're always full of quality. There's no shortcomings. As I'm scouring the internet looking for an older label, because it had a very identifiable look too, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was there it is. There's the Old Fiction label, and it's like a bunch of the starlings that flying in the, in motion. Nope, it didn't like me clicking on that.
Did you say something about a winemaker's dinner for this brand?
I haven't, but I probably will have him back on, and maybe he wants to do a winemaker dinner with me. That would be fun. Yeah, I mean, he really, I think he makes 30 wines. And none of them are in huge quantity, but he's got wines like Happy Accident, The Wilderness, Tommy Town, Shell Creek. I mean, he really puts a lot of wine in bottle as far as number of bottlings, but none of them have, a million cases behind them yet. These skin wines, these white wines with skin contact. Would anyone care to try some of that? We could get some of those too.
Do you have a tasting room up there?
I bet he does now. If we go back to the website, he was on there, and I'm sure if you clicked on there, you would.
We'll look it up.
Yeah, I'm sure he's there. I'm sure he is. So get up there and try some of his unique stuff, and I'm sure he's got some higher tier single vineyard stuff, because basically he's taking these wonderful blends and then adding these bionic single vineyards that he's making to really give them the confidence in the wine and to be able to over deliver. There's just a lot of really good ingredients coming in to support the styles here, and he's been doing it long enough. He really knows what he's doing. All right. So with that, we now go to what I would consider the star of our show tonight.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
$100?
Yeah.
That's a $17.
The Torin Banshee. Can you see my screen, guys?
Under 20.
Yes.
Torin
Yes.
Banshee showing up there? All right, good. Something's happening with my Zoom. It's not showing up on there. So Torin is a brand that's been around for a while and has a great reputation. This wine that we're going to try tonight is 95 points Jeb Dunnick. He sells out almost every year out of his winery wine list. In fact, as I was lamenting the fact that I only have one bottle of this left. When we started promoting this Zoom, I had a full dozen. And as the Zoom got closer, I was like, ooh, we might not make it. But here's his family, beautiful family, the Howley family, and really a great story, good people. They've been working in the wine business. I met them 20 years ago, and
That's raw, I think.
yeah, let me get into the tech sheet behind the wine that you're tasting before we head into the pets.
Ian, you probably know he's also the winemaker for Law Winery.
Yeah, he was. He's no longer there.
Wow.
But he got them going, got them started, and then hired his replacement. And the guy that's working there now is international success story, been working all over the world. And so, yeah, Scott Hawley, really well-respected dude, and his own wines are just taking off. So probably the perfect time for him and the perfect time to transition to really focus on his own brand. All right, so this is the wine that we're trying today. It is actually a Grenache.
say it has some Syrah in it.
It's got 40% Syrah and 25% Mourvedre. So actually, it's technically a Syrah Grenache or a SGM, and it is called the Banshee. And there's the percentages right there. 35% new, French oak, really top vineyards that he's working with in Western Paso. 95 points Dunnick, 95 points Vinuis.
It's 40%.
Yeah, 40 Syrah. What do you guys smell? What do you guys taste?
It's delicious.
Good. $100 bottle, better be pretty damn delicious, but his current vintage is 2019. I buy some old cellars once in a while, and one of my customers moved to England in kind of a hurry for a job, and I bought his entire cellar and
Nice.
forwarded all of his wine purchases to me. I paid him as well as I could. I kind of stole a lot of wine from him. When I go to England, I got to take him out for a really good dinner because the wines just kept coming, and they were all being forwarded to me because you can't get them from here to England with any kind of economic efficiency. So this Torn came in from his cellar 2015. I think he paid about $80 a bottle for it.
That's about right. That's about right. That 15's drinking well right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because their wines don't drink young. His wines need 4 to 5 years on them, don't you think, Ian?
Well, these wines just achieve another gear with 5 years. You know, when they're wines like Bull by the Horns, the cab that we tasted in Fiction, they kind of reward you for bad behavior. Drink them right now. They're 2020 wines, and they're all about the celebration of their fruit. Whereas this wine is got other things happening that is way more complex and way more detailed. Really get a lot of detailed minerality, rocky minerality, concentration, some earth and some tannins and some structure here. So yeah, but it's a huge economic investment to get them, and you do get some diminishing returns if you're looking at it from a point per dollar basis. But that's the way kind of wine is. You hit $100 pretty fast once you get into that 95-point world. Things get, every little detail has an incremental cost. His fruit cost is probably 100 times what the fruit that goes into Fiction. Fiction probably is looking for wine or fruit that he can pay for $500,000, $2,000, $4,000 a ton, whereas the Torrin's probably paying $10,000 a ton for some of his fruit, and that's going to impact the bottle price drastically. And plus, this guy's got a worldwide reputation, and honestly, we can mark these wines up even more, and they still will sell. So this is a beauty. I wanted to show it to you, compare and contrast. There's wines that you drink every day, and there's wines you wish you could drink every day or want to have for those special days. I don't think I want to drink $100 bottles every day. It's not that would be too much, but even if I could afford it. But I like to find wines that sometimes are just really just kind of satisfy, and that's what I'm getting with the Fiction and Bull by the Horns. And then there's wines I want to think about a little bit more or have with a special dinner. And I've been able to do a few special dinners recently. It was my wife's birthday. We've had some friends out, And we've been drinking some good stuff this week, going to some really nice restaurants, getting out, seeing some people, having some fun. And that's when you bring out the Taurin, you know? Let's move into our fourth wine tonight. That's the Field Recordings Pets. Those of you that have full bottles. I'm sure there's some out there somewhere in retail. Just I couldn't get any more. It's a 2020. It's the current vintage. It's probably going to be 6 months before it comes back. Yeah, I'll bring it back in as soon as I can get it. It's another wine that's around $20 a bottle. Petit Syrah is exactly what it is. He's calling it Pets, which is the nickname for Petit Syrah.
Look how black it is.
It's black. It's so black.
Woo.
Yeah. And you know, you can tell there's some concentration going on here.
Yeah, there goes the couch.
We're looking at 14.9 alcohol rather than 13.9 on that fiction. And you can really smell things like black fig, a little prune, a little dehydrated plum skin.
You can smell prune.
Yeah, it's delicious, mouth-filling. It's also a little one-dimensional. I mean, that's what Petit Syrah kind of is. And that's why we let it get pretty ripe to give us some different characteristics and to have some of that peppercorn and to be able to have that those little nuances that you get in the nose, because you get there with the ripeness. Now, Petit Syrah needs to ripen, and it's got thick skins, and it takes some time. And he's done a really good job here, having a really big melody of red, black, and blue fruits. But they're pretty it's pretty singular wall of noise. You know, it's a lot coming at you, and it's really there to impact your palate, and you'd be like, ah. That's a big red expression. $20 though. Come on. This is just such a great deal, a great fun wine. He's using second use American oak barrels. That also helps give a little dimension to Petit Syrah, the American oak, a little dill, a little spice, a little seasoning, a little kind of vanilla cooked cream characteristics that you're going to pull off those barrels.
What bricks do they take that at to get that high in alcohol?
Well, that's actually not that high. As a Zinfandel producer, I can tell you, you can start off picking at 24, 25 and thinking that, you know, get it back to the winery, it'll be 26, 27. And that's where you're at with 14.9. But sometimes it takes a little while to start fermenting. Day 3, you're at 30, close to 30, 29, 30. And then you start going, you know, alcohols with 15.1, 15.2 and higher.
And do you notice a interesting profile from being 100% destemmed, softer, less tannic?
Yeah, I think this one, you know, especially with the style of these wines, you wouldn't want to put stems in these wines that are destined to be bought and drank in the same day, because stems are really going to require the aging process. Sure. And I'm sure the Banshee wine had a lot of stem inclusion, and that was also part of that, you know, fruit salad of characteristics that were kind of unwinding in our face. This wine is just it's a rock anthem coming at you on 10 out of the bottle with that deep dark color. It's an incredible bottle of wine for $20. Now, nice. A lot of people love Petit Syrah because of how much volume there is. It's just big and red, and it checks all the boxes. And you know, that's Petit Syrah really should get a little bit more love and respect. I've worked with a group for years, Petit Syrah producers. They had a fun name, like the original Bluetooth technology, something like that. They there are Petit Syrahs all up and down the state of California, and that have that same wonderful big ripe color wall coming at you. And Petit Syrah is a really fun grape variety. Not a lot of people bottle it with much more aspirations than this. This is just in place at the right time, at the right price, and really kind of tunes it in just perfectly. A big fudge brownie coming at your face like that. It's just really fun. And
Relentless.
Yeah, relentless is a good way to describe Petit Syrah, though.
Why they use it?
It's I use it to blend my Zin, and I use when I make my Zin, I take 75 Zin, 25 Petit, and I go 76 Zin, 24 Petit, and I find out where is it that it creates a really nice melody with our wine. Beekeeper is my name of my wine, and some years we're at 98 Zin, 2 Petit Syrah, and some years we're at 80-20. So it just really depends on the year and how that Petit Syrah interacted with the vintage of the Zinfandel. And so fantastic grape variety. I love it. I pay dearly for my Petit Syrah. My Petit Syrah cost me $5,000 a ton. That means I would have to sell it for over $50 a bottle. And selling Petit Syrah over $50 a bottle is probably even harder than selling my Zin over $50 a bottle. And that's hard enough.
It's one of my favorites.
All right. Which producers do you buy Petit Syrah from? Do you have any other brands that you like?
Well, the Pianetto that I mentioned, the Pianetta.
Okay, Pianetta. They're a Petit Syrah producer.
I also buy it from, you're probably going to laugh, maybe not, J&J Cellars. Are you familiar with J&J Cellars?
That does not ring a bell. So.
Not in wine. It's, I can tell you, I mean, I'm going to take up time now, but it's a long story, a little bit of a story to it. It was a family-owned winery for years, 2 generations. The parents had a label and the kids had a label. Parents died. Kids, it wasn't like their full-time parents. So they sold it to this young couple. I say young, they're in their 50s. And
that's young.
It's just like it is young, I know. It's like my house wine. And they make a Petit Syrah and it's really good. I mean, you know, it sells for like $25 a bottle, but they have sales twice, 50% off. That's when I buy cases.
And
it's just, yeah. And they have Malbec. They have, they don't make actually they make a Zin Barbera mix. I mean, yeah, so it's mostly reds, and they're
J&J
really
Cellars. Are they out of Paso?
Paso, yeah.
Okay.
The last time I was in Paso was before COVID, and I went to see Pianetta as well. I'm going in September, so I'm trying to plan my trip in September.
Cool. Anybody been up to any great restaurants in Paso that you want to?
Oh, Il Cortillo.
Il Cortillo. All right.
What a nice place. We had dinner there, and it was wonderful.
Any others?
Yeah, it's right next to the Piccolo.
Perfect. Right off the square there, huh?
Right off the square.
Cool.
I think, didn't Officer up at Carlisle make a good Petit Syrah?
You know, Mike Officer.
Yeah. I think I've had one of his Petit Syrahs.
I'm sure he does. If he makes it, it's good.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Well, yeah. As you know, it's good stuff.
Yeah. And the guys at Bialy tried to make a brand out of Petit Syrah. I think they finally pulled it back into the Bialy brand because it's a tough wine to sell.
Yeah.
What was Hill Climber, wasn't it?
Hill Climber. That was it.
Yeah. Never heard of it. Yeah.
Yep. And you know, you could go to, you know, Stag's Leap Wine Cellars makes a lot of Petit Syrah. They're probably one of the biggest bottlers in the state, right?
They're awesome.
And you could find, 1972 versions of it, and it hasn't moved. And it's basically the same wine. It ages like a Titan. It's a grape variety that is pretty unforgiving, pretty relentless. But when you like it, and when you find the ones that you like, grab a bunch of it. It's a really good value. Well, thank you guys. It's been so much fun, and thanks for holding on for the ride. I'm sorry I threw you for a couple of loops today, but Susan helped me iron those out. Susan, did you have any favorites with your group there?
Wait a minute. Our favorite tonight is fiction.
Cool.
In case you want to know, we love the fact that it has so many different grapes in it.
Yeah.
And so it's just a very
flavorful.
very more diverse.
Yeah.
Very interesting wine. And that's our
We'll
pick
be
tonight.
getting some of that.
That's fun. No, and I recommended it to someone just a couple of days ago for that reason. They said, well, what is it like a Syrah? And I said, sure, it's got some Syrah, some Petit Syrah, some this and that. And it's an artful stacking of the deck. I mean, it's a full symphony approach, and he does a really good job with it. And it's something I've tasted every year. This guy is definitely, coming after, winning your heart with great value. He has a brand that is dedicated also to putting some nice wine in a can for you. Really into sustainable packaging. All of his glass is recyclable, and he really does care about the long and short. His cork, by the way, is I didn't find out, but I think this is made from recycled sugar cane. It's not actually cork.
Wow.
Yeah, so they take the husks of the sugar cane, and there's no TCA in it. They can control the compression of the cork, and it actually has like a measurement of the air transfer rate through the cork. So if let's say you're a high volume producer and you need to put the wine on the shelf and people are going to start buying it and drinking it right away, you can put a less dense cork in the bottle than others. It's really fascinating what they're doing with this. They're making it out in North Carolina, and we had a research project when I was studying for the masters, and this company just blew my mind with some of their ideas. But obviously the product would just otherwise go to waste, and they have this fantastic idea of using this really dense material to be able to supplement the cork industry with a fantastic alternative that has a really high success rate and no problems, and acts like a cork, works like a cork, and has about 1/10 of the cost. So
we actually used a Coravin tonight, so I can't see the cork.
Yeah.
Right.
So when we do open it, which will be next time, because we consumed half of it.
Good.
You carry more of the field wines, field recording?
Yeah, and I have both. I have a sparkling wine from them too that I was mentioning called Salad Days, and it is a pet nat, basically a sparkling natural wine. He does it in his own style, which is a little bit more voluptuous and rich, and I'm going to be featuring it at I'm doing a dinner, Korean food, Korean barbecue and wine dinner. I'm doing that at Umbu Grill, which is in the heart of Koreatown on Western in Los Angeles. I do 13 wines with this next dinner, and it's very social, very casual, and I'll be starting off with his Pet Nat. It's a $16 sparkling wine that really is great.
What grapes did he use?
I think the primary grape. Let me
Gotcha.
find it. Let me find it.
Petit Syrah, bet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is called Salad Days,
Salad days.
and I'll find it and we'll talk about it here in a second.
Oh, no.
Well, I definitely have it on my list for September when I go up there.
French Columbard was going to be the grape I was talking about, but so he's using, the French Columbard, the first grape you would think of. Probably not, but it's probably one of the least expensive crops in wine in California, and he's taking it and adds a lot of character to it. It's not sweet, but there probably is 10 grams of sugar, which would still be considered a brut in champagne speak. But it has just the right amount of effervescence and just the right amount of bubble. Carries about 10% alcohol. You can drink it, a lot of it. It's fun, it's fresh, and it's pet nat, and that is what he is all about. He does actually finish it with both a crown cap and a cork, which I need to talk to him about and find out why he does that, but it's probably all about the pressure and liability. Because if you talk to anybody in the pet nat world, ask them how many bottles explode, because it's basically like, raw wine going out in the world, still kind of creating itself in the bottle. It is alive. And that's
I didn't know anybody still grew French Columbard.
Yeah.
He's like a throwback.
You used to hear about that, yeah.
So what does French Columbard taste like? I don't remember anymore.
Actually, it's not that. I was just up in Napa, and I had it was Sonoma and Peter Sellers. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Mm-hmm. I knew the Pink Panther.
But he makes a sparkling Columbard, and it was actually good. When he told me what it was, I was like, "Oh, really?" But it was good.
It's one of those grapes that kind of has a dirty reputation, but I've tasted some wines that have quite a bit of French Columbard in them, and quite honestly, French Columbard is a filler grape for a lot of wines. That you only have to be 75% of any one varietal in the state of California to be called Chardonnay. I guarantee you, there's some French Columbard in Two Buck Chuck and and Kendall Jackson Chard and then some others as well.
Who was the big producer and winemaker for French Columbard back in the 70s? Was that like Matisse or one of those?
Was it Matisse? You're right, because I remember.
That sounds.
We can tell our age here.
You had some of those were coming in from Europe, wines like Lancers, Blue Nun, and they were made with different, indigenous grape varieties from places like Germany, Portugal, northern Italy, stuff like that. I wasn't 21 until 1990, so I missed a lot of those phases. But
I was lucky. My dad was a wine collector from the early days. He started getting interested in the 60s, and there were no California wines then. So, we had a lot of Italian and French wines growing up, and he would let us taste it at Sunday night dinner as long as we had 2 dishes or 8, a little tiny glass of wine on Sunday night. And French Columbard was one of the ones that we had because it was
I think it was Ernest and Giulio Gallo that called it Chablis.
Yeah.
It was made from French Columbard in California.
Okay. I remember some, and I don't know whose it was, but it said French Columbard right on it.
Yeah, and I remember my grandfather, who liked his Ernest and Giulio Chablis out of the jug. He poured on the rocks. That's what he drank. So my family, military family, I went to France for the first time. I went to Chablis. Oh, my grandfather loved Chablis. I bought him a really nice Grand Cru Chablis, and I brought it back for him, and we sat down, and I poured it for him, and he goes, "Nope, like my other stuff."
Really? And he meant not real Chablis?
No, it's not. No, and we did a lot of that, and that's why the French really don't have a lot of respect for our California wines up until now, anyway.
Yeah.
You know, we called Burgundy. We had BV making Burgundy from Petit Syrah. Remember that?
Yeah, Gallo was making Burgundy from Zinfandel.
There you go. Red Burgundy. It was red wine. It was called Burgundy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
So
that's our,
you sell several of these other field recordings, you said.
I do. I have plenty of field recordings, plenty of Bull by the Horns. It's the Taurin. We only have one bottle remaining. Those participated on the Zoom tonight. If you use your discount code, it's 10% off any Paso Robles wine on the website. And that includes salad days and there is no Petit Syrah, I'm sorry.
Is there a minimum for delivery, for free delivery?
In Los Angeles, it's $100 for free delivery. Otherwise, delivery is $10.
Okay.
And that's $10 anywhere in the state of California.
Okay.
And so we'll keep that program going. It does cost us a fortune, but in the city of Los Angeles, I don't have to put it in a box because we courier it. And that,
See, but we love when your guys come and deliver in person.
that's good, good. He's a really nice guy, and there's a couple of them now. So
I get it. Or maybe it's somebody else that delivers. Never mind.
you probably have a different. Well, we typically have a guy out there named Richard who's does.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's our main driver, and he's a fantastic guy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you all for participating and carrying on the conversation. Wonderful time. I hope to see you all again. And I didn't see any chats. I hope I didn't ignore anybody. Gregory, you said which was one, was two, the 2 ounce. No, the 2 ounce containers were correct. I promise, Gregory. We poured those. For the most part, we poured them today. If I had to ship you, I Coravined it on Monday and got them out. But I filled them all the way to the top. Hopefully, didn't have any spillage because they can't. I literally put it right to the very top.
Okay, yeah. So I believe you. So what was it though? So number 2 was fiction.
Yeah, number 2 was fiction. Number 1 was the Bull by the Horns.
Okay, great, thank you.
My pleasure.
Say,
Ian, for your time.
Thank you guys, and thanks for. I'll look forward to seeing you all again soon. We'll keep.
wait, did you say you didn't have the pets anymore? No more pets?
Right. Yes, Pets
Okay.
is gone.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
We love the pets.
How do you get that deep red wine stain out? Do you have a solution for that?
Wine out.
What did you get it on? Try first of all. If you don't have Wine Away, that's a great product.
No, we're
Yes,
just
it
gonna
is.
keep drinking it.
But pour some white wine on it to break it down a little bit. Unless you're talking about pouring it on the couch, then maybe not.
Amazon has Wine Away, and it is amazing.
There you go.
Huge red wine spill out of a very good Italian cotton cloth. And it came out.
Yeah, Wine Away is pretty magical stuff. It's always a good idea to have some on hand.
Yes, I want more.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll
you.
get Wine Away as a
Thank you.
sponsor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you.
Maybe the 4th be with you.